Ginczanka is a remarkable person. Last year, a biography was published in Poland, and I very much hope it will be published here. There are 3 books coming out in English in the next 2 years, and so American readers are about to discover a really wonderful, underrated poet. She was a Polish Jewish poet, really. She's born in Ukraine, 1917, but it was part of the Russian Empire. Her family spoke Russian. She didn't know any Yiddish, but she loved Polish poetry. Her friends spoke Polish, and she decided that she wanted to be a Polish poet. Her parents really abandoned her. She was raised by her grandmother. And when she was 18, she moved to Warsaw. There she was taken up by Tuwim, the most important interwar Polish poet and the leader of Scamander. She was always somewhat aloof, I'd say, from Scamander, but the Scamanderites loved her work. She published only 1 book. It's quite remarkable. It's called On the Centaurs, or About the Centaur. And it's sort of the metaphor of the centaur, which she takes from male poets and repositions it from a feminist perspective, is really half body, half spirit, half animal, half spiritual person. That's the sort of metaphor. She was amazingly skillful as a poet, and it's going to be very difficult for translators to capture her abilities, especially because of her gift for rhyming, which was admired by everyone. She was caught in the vice of being Jewish in Poland between the wars and in the Nazi sort of takeover, which she saw coming. She fled to Lviv, which was then part of Poland. And there she went into hiding. Her grandmother had given her everything from the family. And unfortunately for her, she was denounced by the concierge of the building who wanted her property and wanted to get rid of her. And she wrote probably her most famous poem in response, Non omnis moriar, based on a Horace poem. But really, there's a famous Polish romantic poem called My Testament, and she basically rewrites My Testament in a very bitter way. Now, one of the things that's most remarkable historically about this poem was that after the war, the poem was used to convict the concierge and her son for turning her over to the Nazis, for stealing her property, basically. She escaped for some time. No one knows exactly how. But eventually she moved to Krakow. She went into hiding again, and she was eventually caught by the Nazis, and she was arrested. No one knows exactly how she was killed, but there's some consensus that she was shot and murdered in 1944. So she was very young, but she'd written all these poems. Not just in her book, but poems that had survived. And her legend lived on. Polish poets have always known how good she was. And now she's finally having her day. So her life was short, but her poems are permanent.
I think I must have been 4 or 5 when my mother took me to Paris to visit relatives there. And we sailed on the Ile-de-France, and it was this extraordinary, huge, magical boat. I was running through the middle of the boat one day, and I saw a beautiful blonde girl and her 5-year-old brother running through the room, and she was wearing a bandeau, and it said Ile-de-France. on it. And so I ran up to her and I said, "Where did you get that ribbon, the Ile-de-France? Can I have one?" And she said, "Jews aren't allowed to wear the Ile-de-France."
It was like I've been hit with something. And it was interesting, but it was scary. It was the first experience of knowing that I was part of a hated people, particularly because it was so charmingly said. I knew I was Jewish then. I understood that. Yeah. I see looking forward and life. 1938. Not fair. I mean, it's not fair. Ginczanka. Okay.
My name is Lee Grant. I live on the Upper West Side on 90th Street and West End Avenue, which is a block from Riverside Drive, which is so fertile and beautiful, and the trees just dazzle me. And I live in this glorious, remarkable apartment. And I live here where my husband, and with his twin sister, Phyllis Fioretti, I am a Ukrainian Jewish girl of those origins. They are Italians from Naples, and so the marriage is an intense and beautiful.
I'm an activist. I was blacklisted for being married to a communist in the 50s, and unless I named his name in front of the committee, I couldn't work. So in my first movie, Detective Story, I won the Cannes Film Festival Award for Best Actress. I was 23, but I didn't work again in Hollywood till I was 32. Fade out, fade in. It's another decade. The hippies are here. Hello, free love. Everything is good. There's nothing bad. And I'm back, and I'm young enough to be back and have a career on film.
And the winner is Lee Grant in Shampoo.
Thank you.
I never mentioned it. What's there to mention? When you come in to go to the Oscars, when you're nominated, it's all, Lee, no, let me take a picture. Lee, oh God. And then when somebody else's name is announced, it's like, could you, get out of the way, please, so we can take a picture of the winner? Well, that happened to me like 4 times. Warren Beatty had said to me, you're 49 years old, Lee. So as I went up to get the Oscar for Shampoo, I kept thinking of what he's saying.
Honey, it's over. This is the last hurrah,
And then Mary Beth Yarrow mentioned the women who were on strike in Wilmer, Minnesota. And the doors just blew open for both of us. Who is it? You went downstairs. I'm 97 and a half. Pretty good, because I don't see any other 97-year-old women jumping around and doing Pilates like me. I am a very lucky person because my father was a strong Polish Jew, and my body is like his. I'm married to Joseph Fioretti, who is, I guess, 13 years younger than me, 12, 13 years younger than me. And there's no question that he euthaned me. And when I met him, I was 32 or 3. I never thought it would last. You know, it was a lovely, whimsical journey. It's a very exciting Italian man, and always surprising. He produced the documentaries that Mary Beth and I and Prue made. And suddenly, 10 years ago, he started painting. Since Joey became an artist, we've developed a new kind of romance. The art is in the house. It's here. And the shift from my talent as a director to his talent as a painter is such a easy shift for both of us that it's like a new relationship. I'm the artist's wife, which is a very interesting role for me. I don't know whether I told you that I light a candle every night, do I? And I don't believe in God, you know. So if I light a candle and ask whatever is out there to save Ukraine, then you know I'm desperate. I'm desperate. If I were like 20 years younger, that I would be in Ukraine doing another documentary because I think it's a life and death. Instead, here I am talking to you and reading the poem by an extraordinary young woman.
Explanation in the Margin by Zuzanna Ginczanka. I did not rise from dust. I will not turn to dust. I did not descend from heaven, and I will not return to heaven. I myself am heaven, like a glass vault. I myself am earth, like fertile clay. I haven't fled from anywhere, nor will I return there. I know no remove but myself. In the wind's swelling lung and in the calcifying rock, I must find myself as I am, scattered here.
It's facing an end. But facing it by saying, not I shall die, but I shall become a part of the earth. There is no darkness there. It's defiant. Yeah. It's, you may kill me, but you can't kill something that firm and solid. She's around us right here in this book.
Discovering Ginczanka was a gift for me.